What are the red flags that you would warn your friends about when dating?
I think one of the biggest ones. So let's say you've established values. Let's say you've established that you have similar values. If you have wildly different expectations for your life, it may be that you guys are really good friends, but you're just not made to build a life together because you've got to have some sort of agreement on this is what we're going to do. So, for instance, if people have very hard professional aspirations, which are not compatible, but there's more than just a desire to say make money or whatnot. Like they are very passionate about like maybe their craft or their business or whatever it is. And those two things are not compatible and neither are willing to give way. Just part as friends, right? Just part as friends. Um, Here's another big one I tell, this is applicable for both men and women. Jordan Peterson talks about this, where a lot of times a woman will initiate a dispute in part to see how you handle it. Do you do a good job of regulating your emotions? Do you fly off the handle? Do you get really upset? Do you get, quiet and impossible to talk to? Like those are all important things for her to find out. One of the most important things for you to find out as a guy is, can you have a rational conversation with this woman? Because if you can't, sorry, part as friends, don't marry her. Again, one of the things I most appreciated about my wife, and this was something that we established when we were dating, but through the first year of marriage was also an important component. There was one time we were debating, I was upset. We're both passionate people. And she goes, I need you to talk to me like I'm the woman that you love. I said, okay, that's fair. But on the other side, it's like, I need you to realize that reality is reality. And while you may have an emotional response to this, it doesn't trump facts on the ground. She's like, that's fair. And so what it meant is that when I approach that conversation, I need to remember I'm not just arguing with one of my buddies. I'm not in a heated discussion on the floor of the House of Delegates, right? I am talking to the woman I love, and she is entitled to know that the way I will discuss things with her will never cause her to wonder about my commitment toward her. By the same token, it's women make emotional connections for very serious and relevant biological reasons. And it has to do with vulnerability in the physical world. And so they have to pick up on micro signals and things like that and be more in tune to it, like you were mentioning earlier. So that emotional component to the way that they think or process information or make connections to things that happened in the past is relevant and important and actually a strength. But it can't be used to distract from the topic at hand. And so my wife was always incredibly reasonable. When I would make a good point, she would concede the point. Like I tell guys, one of the worst pieces of advice you can get from older men is, don't argue with your wife, just say yes, dear. I don't treat my wife like a petulant child. If I think she's wrong, we're going to have a discussion, because ultimately I do see it as my responsibility to make sure that my family is okay.
When does masculinity become toxic?
I think it's best to kind of illustrate that through examples. So again, when we talk about what we consider to be typical masculine traits, again, aggression, competitiveness, physical prowess, things like that. If I use my aggression and my competitiveness and my physical prowess to steal an old lady's purse, that's toxic. If I use it to hurt the guy that's stealing the purse or to give the purse back to the lady, that's positive. So I think the best way to think about both male and feminine traits is that you have a whole category here which are in many respects morally neutral. It's all a question of how they manifest and to what purpose. And so I would say that masculine traits become toxic the moment they are used to harm or exploit the innocent in order to gain favor for yourself. And I think that's true of feminine traits as well. Nurturing is a very feminine trait, unless it becomes something where now you're babying someone or you're keeping them in a position of constant dependency because you need to feel that level of importance in a relationship.